All right, hello everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Iman McGrory. I'm a master solution engineer here at Salesforce, and today I got a good one for you. Today we're going to talk about how to send mass emails out of Salesforce. First and foremost, though, let me just say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being customers. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to learn a little bit more about Salesforce. I appreciate your time. I respect your time, and I really want to make this a good use of your time. So speaking of our time together, what's it going to look like? First, I'm going to break it down. There's a lot of ways to do stuff with email, and I'm going to give you an overview. Then I'm going to do a demo of what we talk about, and then I'll give you a chance to log into a demo org and just play with it without having to do any setup. And at the bottom of the hour, we're going to open this thing up to Q&A. Now, if you've never joined me before, let me just give you some tips for a good time. One, do not try to click along with me. This is not an Iman click along, and I'm just gonna go way too fast. And if you look down and try to do what I'm talking about, I'm gonna leave you behind. So please don't do that. If anything, sit back, relax, prepare to drink from the fire hose. And anytime you got questions, ask them in the GoToWebinar sidebar. Somewhere floating on your screen, there's a little collapsed sidebar. There's a little red arrow on it. You click it, it opens it up. You see a bunch of sections. One of them is questions. Put your question in there. Hit enter, and when you do, Crystal, my co-pilot for the webinar, will see your question, and she'll feed it to me at the bottom of the hour. And in that same sidebar is where you can find the handout for this presentation. You don't need to wait for me. You can just download the slides right now. And if you do nothing, you fall asleep right now, you Rip Van Winkle your way into next week or whatever, you'll wake up tomorrow morning with a link to the recording and the handout. So we'll email it to you, or just download it right now. Also, you can hold up your iPhone, turn on the camera on your iPhone, and just point it at this presentation. You don't have to take a picture, just point it here, and that QR code that I have on the screen will link you to our webinar community group. So if you scan that code, it'll open up the community group where you can ask us questions in the future or stay up to speed on future webinars. But basically, that's where Crystal and I are trying to be responsive and be available for customers outside of just the webinar Tuesdays, Thursdays. All right, and last, but definitely not least, please fill out a survey. If you have a chance, just fill out a survey. Let me know if you like this session. Let me know what you'd like me to do better or different. I've tweaked this session from the last time I've done it because of the survey results. So I really do like to use the audience feedback to kind of make sure my content is good. And last, second, definitely last, I got to sit through this webinar. So I don't know, can we try to have a good time with it? All right. So mass or list emails. What is it? How does it work? Iman, break it down. All right, well, look, in Salesforce, there's a bunch of ways to send emails. This isn't even all of the ways to send emails, just most of the ways to send email. But you can send one-off emails. You can send automated emails. You can send mass emails. And then if you're someone who sends a lot of mass emails, if you do a lot of email marketing, you should probably be looking at a marketing automation tool. And I'll talk about that as well, okay? But for individual emails, I'm gonna give you a quick overview of what the options are, and then we're gonna go straight into mass emails, okay? So for individual emails, this is just me as a salesperson or a support agent looking at Crystal's contact record and going, I gotta send her an email. And I click the send an email button in Salesforce, and this little email editor pops up, and I write what I want in here, or I use an email template. I can put images, and I can hit send. And there's really no limit to this. It's just limited based on how many finger clicks you can do in a day. There's no hard number tied to this. It's just send as many as you want. Now, when it comes to individual emails, you can send them out of Salesforce, but most people just send them out of Gmail or Outlook. If you get an email from me, I send it from my Gmail. And I use my Gmail plugin to Salesforce to log that email against your contact record, to see what account you are, see if there are any open deals or support tickets before I call you or email you. So I use the Outlook, the Gmail plugin. Okay, but there's an Outlook plugin as well. So if you're sending emails from Gmail and Outlook, you should know you can get those synced to Salesforce. And yeah, it even works on desktop Outlook plugins as well. The plugin works on desktop Outlook as well. But this is just another option. All right, then you got auto response emails. So the idea here is someone goes to your web form and they go, hey, my name's Iman McGrory at Salesforce, and I'm interested in your product. Boom. And they submit themselves as a lead into your Salesforce. Well, immediately they will get a response saying, thank you for your interest, Iman. Crystal will follow up with you shortly. So these kind of auto response emails, you can set up, and you can have as many of these as you want. They can be criteria based, and you can have them for leads or cases. So sales leads or support cases, you can auto respond to whoever that is. Then there's just automated rules, okay? So you can have a process builder rule, send emails whenever, and you can send emails immediately, or you can schedule emails in the future or before certain dates. So for example, send an automated email 30 days before the renewal, 90 days before the renewal. Send an email 15 days after they purchase something, just to go, hey, how's it going? Wanted to check in, right? So you can have these succession of emails be sent out automatically at any time a criteria is met, okay? And it just sends an email template to that person, that contact, or that lead. So if you have a lot of people that you want an email to go out to, but you don't need a human to decide what email should go and when it should go, it should just happen based on a process, for example, automation rules are probably going to be the right answer for you, okay? All right, now we're to the mass email or list email feature. So Salesforce has Salesforce Classic and Lightning. Classic is the older UI. If you've been a new customer since like 2014, 15, you're probably not in Classic. You're probably just in Lightning. If you've been a customer since 2007, 2010, you might still be in Classic. Hopefully you've migrated to Lightning, but you might be in Classic. Classic has the mass email feature. And in Lightning, we now have a feature called list emails, okay? There's really a couple differences. So with Classic, you can schedule emails to run in the future for mass emails. So Crystal can go into Classic, pick an email template, pick who she's going to send it to, and schedule when it's going to go out, okay? But the downsides are with mass emails, you can only send emails to leads, however many leads you want, but not contacts, or just contacts, but not leads. You can't mix and match. You have to send 2 emails if you want leads and contacts together, okay? And it's also a little less intuitive. The number of steps involved is a little bit more manual. So other than the scheduling of future email send, there's really no reason to use mass emails. All right, now for list emails, which is what this whole webinar is going to be on pretty much, I think they're easier to send. They're a little bit more intuitive, less steps, and you can send emails to leads and contacts at the same time. So I think they made it a lot easier. The only feature that's missing right now is scheduling of mass emails. And, I wouldn't hold your breath, but I do anticipate seeing it roll out in the future. Now, mass emails or list emails, it's pretty powerful. It's a nice way to send a ton of emails to all of you. And frankly, if you got our monthly email telling you about the webinars, this is the feature we use to send it. That's how we did it. So that's how it works. But it's not the most robust email tool that's out there. If you're someone that just needs to send a quick email to 30 people, 50 people, fine. You need to send an email to a couple hundred or maybe even a couple thousand people, okay, no problem, use this. But if this is something that's part of a process that your marketing team's going to be engaged in, you're going to get limited analytics and insights into these emails. These emails don't have really good insight into how many times, what links were clicked in the emails, what's our bounce rate. Like, you just can't get that kind of insight you'd get from a more robust marketing automation tool. Okay. Also, you may get caught in spam filters. There's no rule that says this email will get caught in spam, this email won't get caught in spam. There's no one spam filter that just works for everybody. Every email client has their own spam management engine, and they all kind of work a little differently. So there's no perfect way to say I will never get caught in spam. But there is one thing you can do that'll make it a lot easier, or better, less likely that you'll get caught in spam. A lot of spam engines, whatever you want to call them, they look for things where when an email shows up, did you send me the email from you, or did something else send the email pretending to be you? Right? If Iman sends you an email, it's probably Iman. But if a marketing tool sends the email saying it's from Iman, that could be spam, right? So there's a feature called email relay, and it's pretty simple to enable. You just need to know your email configuration stuff. So maybe it's an IT thing, but it's point and click to set up. And what happens is Salesforce will have all the right email content ready to go, who it's going to go to, and it gives it to your email server, and then your email server sends it out. So that email really does go from your Gmail account or your Outlook account or Outlook server, Exchange server, but it doesn't go from the Salesforce servers on your behalf. So every email you send from Salesforce traditionally is sent from one of our servers on your behalf. Email Relay makes it so that you actually send your email. We don't send your email, and that helps with spam. Also, with mass emails or list emails, you decide. You literally, the person sending it has to decide who gets the email, when they get the email, and what email. Okay, there's no automated or dynamic kind of logic that says these are the right people, or because they clicked the link before they should get this follow-up email. It's not dynamic or automated in the way some other things can be. Okay. Also, you only get 5,000 mass emails per day. 24-hour period it's a company-wide limit. If Crystal sends 4,995 emails today, the rest of your company has 5 emails for the whole day. 24-hour, I think, Greenwich Mean Time window there. Okay, and it cycles every 24 hours. So 5,000. If you need more than 5,000 emails, you probably need a different marketing automation tool to begin with. Woo, great, Iman, I'm in. That's what I want. How do I do it? All right, well, so there's actually a tab in Lightning called List Emails. You find that tab, you go to that tab, and you can create a new list email. You can just send a list email. And when you do that, you need to define who you're sending it to and what the email is going to say. So who are you sending the email to? That's really all about list views. That's really all about go to the leads tab, go to the contacts tab, and create filtered list views. Find me all the leads in California with the word service in their title. Find me all my contacts that are C-suite contacts. Find me all my contacts from customer accounts, not prospect accounts, those kinds of things. And now you've got these list views. And these list views can be grouped together. So you can change the filters, change what you're looking for. And these list views can be grouped together to send out mass emails, okay? Or you can go to an email, go to a list view, check off the individual people you want, and send a list email to just them, okay? So you can make your list view and send the email right from there, or you can make your list view and then include it as one of many list views that you're going to send an email to. So in this case, you can see I'm sending an email to all of my 48 leads and maybe my C-level contacts or my VP level contacts. I mean, that's a weird email to send, but you get the idea. I can have many, 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 many list emails all sent at once, okay? So that's how you do the who, but you can also do it with campaigns, okay? So a regular list is just using criteria, Iman's title, Iman's city or state, and you find everyone in that city or state, okay? But if you send a lot of mass emails, or if you have a more robust kind of marketing department, you should really be using campaigns. Campaigns are records in Salesforce that help you track what did we do with which people, and then how much money did they spend with us later, so you can track the effectiveness of these emails on your revenue, right? So campaigns are great for events. Did you go to a trade show? Who came to the trade show? How much money did you make from going to that trade show? So events are really, really powerful. They're just records though. So if you're not, campaigns are really powerful, but they're just records. So you can create a campaign, you can create custom fields, add custom fields to the campaign, but it'll track these things automatically. How many leads are in the campaign, how many contacts. You tell it how much you budgeted for the campaign. You tell it how much you actually spent on the campaign. Mass email, probably 0, right? And it will track in the campaign, well, how many opportunities did we create? How many of those did we win? Well, based off of how much we won and how much you spent, what's our ROI, right? And you can start getting really good insights and reports and dashboards over time. And campaigns can even be broken up into hierarchies. So if you want to send a bunch of emails, you can have each email in its own campaign, and those can group up to, let's say, a outreach campaign, which is then grouped up to a bigger strategy. So this is what I would use if reporting, insight, historical views are going to be important. If it's just a one-off email and it's just an email and that's all it is, you probably don't need campaigns. Okay? but campaigns can be put on a calendar, they can be scheduled, you can have really nice reports and dashboards around them. And there's something even called a campaign influence model, which says, hey, if Crystal got this mass email, well, she's in my campaign. And then if Crystal buys something, how much credit should this campaign get for what Crystal bought? And there's different ways to attribute that campaign's influence on that deal. There's the first touch model that says, it doesn't matter how many campaigns Crystal was involved in, the first one that Crystal was involved in gets 100% credit for the revenue. There's a last touch model, so it doesn't matter what happened, the last campaign to touch her gets all the credit. Even distribution, I think you can kind of see what that is. And then, or you come up with your own models. You can come up with your own models, okay? So that's what campaign influence is. And you can automate campaign influence, or you can make it manual where people decide how much influence to give each campaign. Don't make it manual. No one will ever do it correctly well enough for you to get good reports. But that's a feature that you should be thinking about, is around campaign influence, okay? And you can add people to campaigns any way you want. So you can go to the lead or the contact record and add them to a campaign. You can go to a report on leads or contacts and add everyone in the report to a campaign. You can load a spreadsheet of people. Maybe you went to a trade show, load that spreadsheet of people right into a campaign, okay? Or from a list view, get me all my contacts with this title and add them to a campaign. So the nice thing about a campaign is you can add a hodgepodge of users here where there's no criteria where they all fit in. So if you go to a trade show and you want to email everyone that went to that trade show, a campaign is the best way to do it. Because it's not like everyone that came to your booth had the same title or was in the same state or had some filter criteria you want to use. They all went to the event, right? So with this webinar, for example, you're all in my webinar. You are all going to be in a campaign. And I will be able to see how many people registered, how many people attended, right? And then the people that attended are going to get emails saying thanks for attending, right? So that's kind of what we do here. So now you know who you're sending an email to, whether it's people in a campaign, people in a list view, you're sending the email. All right, well, what are you going to say? That's really just the body of the email. And you can write one right then and there, and save it as a template, or you can insert a template that you already have and just use that, okay? And in your email, there's this little thing called the merge field. There's a little icon there that you can add. And this will let you do things like, hi, first name, right? So, hi, Crystal, hi, Stephen, hi, Angelica. And you can do this for all the fields, on leads, contacts. It'll even let you pull like account name, things like that. So if you want to pull in information so you can personalize the email, you can do that. And then once you've written your email and you've got your merge, there's actually a button to review the email. And it'll show you the first 30 names in your list, and you can kind of click through whoever you want and see what the email would render like for that person, to make sure it says Dear Bruce instead of Dear First Name. You don't want to make that mistake. So you can review it as these different names, make sure everything looks good before you send it out. All right. Now there are some limitations on list emails we talked about. Okay. So each list view can have 2,000 people per list view, okay? And then if you're manually selecting a bunch of names, you're not just sending to everyone in the list view, you can only manually select 200 at a time, okay? And the list emails really do count against the 5,000 email limit, all right? And if you have a marketing automation tool you like, maybe you already use Marketo or HubSpot or Pardot or something, you could probably just keep using that. Salesforce integrates with a lot of these other tools. A lot of those tools go out of their way to have integrations to Salesforce. So you can just keep using those and it'll log the email in Salesforce or sync leads from Salesforce. So if you have one you like, you don't have to abandon it. You can probably just check to see if it's integrated. If you don't have one you like, and this is something you want to do all the time and you want to make it really robust, you might want to check out something like Pardot. Pardot is our marketing automation tool. It's an add-on cost. You have to pay for it. It's not included with any of your licenses. There's a link to a webinar I've done on it in the past. I'm going to do a Pardot webinar coming up this month if you're interested. But the idea here is way higher limits of emails, just a more robust tool from a reporting, insight perspective. And it does more than just send an email. It lets you create landing pages, forms, dynamic links. And what it is really good at is letting you control the journey, right? So automatically send this email to people that meet a criteria, And then did they open the email? Did they not? Did they click a link? Did they not? Which link did they click, right? You can have that change the experience they're going to get. So instead of just sending one email and then not really getting a lot of reporting into it, you can really set up these campaigns, these experiences over email, and kind of fire and forget. So when, anytime a new customer signs up, they get this email day one, and then if they didn't click on anything, send it again maybe 4 days later. And then when they open it, they can now get deeper level nurturing email. So if that's the experience you want, don't try to manually do that with list emails. Look for a tool like Pardot. Okay. And there's also a tool called high velocity sales. If you're sending a lot of emails, you may want to follow up with a lot of people too, right? There may be an inside sales play here. So this is a feature we have. It's an add-on. This is not something any of you just have. This is an add-on product. But the idea here is you can have your inside sales team, just a bank of people sitting there, and you can put leads and contacts into these work queues. So they just kind of have a list of people they need to call, follow-up steps, and emails that they need to send out as well. So it's not a mass email, but you can create this cadence that includes phone calls, outreach, and email, and kind of have your people go through that as well. All right, and this is my last slide before we do a demo. We're talking about email, but it's not all about email. Like, your interaction with your customers shouldn't just be email. So, if you are a B2C company, for example, does it make more sense to send text messages? If your customer is not at their desk all the time, is there a different communication that we should do? So Salesforce does chat, SMS, WeChat, Apple Messenger. So there's lots of different ways we can reach out. Don't just be only thinking about email. All right, so that's it. I'm going to create a list email. We're going to do it via list view and via campaign, and then you can all ask me questions. All right, let's do it. So I'm in my Salesforce environment. Let's go to my leads tab, and let's just look at some leads here. Let's just look at all my leads. All right, great. These are all my leads, and here's all my info. Notice I've got some VPs, right? I've got some SVPs, VPs. Let's make a new list view. We make a new list view, and I'm going to call it Doing It Live. Okay. And who can see the list view? Maybe everyone can. Maybe I just can. Doing it live. And what am I filtering down for? Well, I'm going to say show me all the leads. And you could say show me all the leads in a particular campaign if you want, but I'm just saying show me all my leads. And I'm going to filter it down and say show me all the leads where the title contains VP. Hits it. There we go. So now all of these users or all these leads should have a VP title. And let me add title here to the list of fields so we can confirm that it's what I want. Title. There we go. And move it up the list here just so we can see it more easily. Name, title, email. Perfect. So now all these should be VPs of some kind. VP, EVP. There we go. So now I have my list. Okay, and I could just check some boxes right here and go send an email, send a list email to these people. Notice it's 4 recipients out of my Doing It Live list view. Okay, and you can just type stuff in, or you could insert a template. So I'm going to use a template, and you may have templates already, but here I'll send my intro email, and there we go. Hi, nice to meet you, dear whatever your first name is. My name's whatever my name is, and I'm here to help, right? And I can review this email and see what it would look like for Adnan, for Andrea, for Angela. This is how you review the email, okay? So that's one way, and I could send this email right now to 4 people, okay? Or what else could I do? Or I could go to a campaign, and let's just create a new campaign. I'm going to create a new campaign, and I'm going to call it my Doing It Live campaign. Doing It Live. Okay. And maybe this is part of one of my webinar campaign series. Okay. And I can keep track of the campaign, and mass email really just a one-day thing. And what kind of campaign is it? But there's a lot of fields you can track. If this were an event or if it required planning, you could track all this. But here I've got my campaign, and I've got this record, and there's no one in it, and there's nothing going on. Okay. So I could go to a lead, any random lead, and add them to the campaign. I could manually go in, let's say Blitzer, and I'm going to go to my marketing tab. And I can just add them to the campaign. So I come in here and say, add this person to Doing It Live. There we go. And now we have one person in the campaign. So that's nice, but that's not a great way to scale this, right? Maybe a bunch of reps want to put a bunch of people in the campaign. So a lot of people could go to various list views, and they can add the campaign. Oh, I don't have the button here. They can add the campaign from a list view, for example, or you could even do it from a report. So you could go to a report, create a button, and I'm going to add a contact report here, for example. And it has to be a contact report or a lead report. No other report type will work. But you put whatever filter criteria you want, you do whatever you want here, and when you actually run that report, when you save that report, a new button will be available to add the campaign. So it'll take everybody in the report and in mass add them to my campaign. All right, so you can manually add people. You can add people from list views. You can add people from reports. And then now if I refresh my page, you'll see I should have a few leads and a bunch of contacts in here now. Okay, and I haven't created any opportunities or anything, so I'm not measuring any of that. But here I've got this hodgepodge of people. And I can even go into the campaign and add leads or contacts right from here too. So I could search for things like, VP and just manually add people here as well. All right, so lots of ways to get people into the campaign, but now they're in the campaign. And from the campaign, I've got 110 people. I could just send a list email right here to everybody in this list. All right, so that's another way to send the list email. One other way to send the list email is just to go to your list email tab. So you find your list emails tab and you're going to send a list email. And here it has no idea who you're sending it to. So you could just start, typing list views. So here I'm going to type a list view for doing it live. There's my doing it live lead list view. Here's my doing it live campaign. And I don't know, here's my, I'll just start typing contacts. And here's my C-level contact. So now this email will go to all my leads in my doing it live list view, all the leads and contacts in my campaign, and all the contacts in this list view. All right. And I could put stuff in here, notes. And again, more email templates if I like. I could add my own merge fields like hi, recipient's first name, hi, first name. And then I can review it and go, hi, Adnan, hi, Brent, hi, Brandon, hi, Brian, right? So really simple way to send it. And the last thing here I'm going to show you is email templates. So there's actually an email template tab, okay? And I've got a custom one and a standard one. I'm going to show you the standard one, this one, okay? So this is the one you all have. And the nice thing about creating an email template from here, rather than just using the list email, is you can actually create HTML email templates. So right from here, I can give it a name, doing it live, and you can say what type of record it's related to. You can give it a name so people know what it is. Save it in a folder so people have access to it. And then here, you can really just start making your email template. And if you're really good at this stuff, you can copy paste HTML in here and really fine tune what your email is going to look like, make it look great. Okay. If you're not going to do HTML, you can just type stuff and make it bold or change the color. You can embed images or links. So you can still make a okay looking email template, but if you're really trying to make it look just really great, HTML is probably the right way to do it. Okay, so you're probably gonna have someone in marketing, someone who's written HTML for you, do that here. And it just becomes an available email template for you to use. So you can send list emails from list views, you can send list emails from campaigns, or you can send list emails from the list email tab. All right, and if you go to your list emails, you'll see which ones were sent, how many people they were sent to, what email was sent, and then you get some insight into the general, how many were opened, how many were clicked. You get some insights here, okay? But very high level. All right. So I'd recommend if you've never done it before, send one to yourself first. Use the email template on yourself, make a lead or a contact for you and just send it to you and make sure it looks good. I recommend making really simple email templates that just look like text, or use custom HTML. Don't try to get real fancy with just the point and click editor. Either do HTML or just make it look like plain old text, okay? And last, there's a report type for HTML emails. So you can run a report on HTML email views, opens, etc. And if any of you want to play with sending a list email, I have a demo environment ready that has that feature enabled, and you can all go in there and play with list emails without having to do anything. Open up your phone, scan that QR code, or go to that link, salesforce.com/EDO. You can log in and go straight to the leads tab and just start doing this. And if you need help with any of this stuff, marketing stuff, automating stuff, we've got a partner Wiser Spread that'll offer you 2 hours of free consulting if you say Iman sent me. So reach out to them, let them know I sent them your way, and you'll get 2 hours of help. And here are some links that I think are just going to help you with the little things we talked about, like the email relay feature, or the very specific differences between mass emails and list emails, or automation rules that send emails. So I just wanted to give you everything I thought you would need to better understand this content. And at the bottom there, I have Pardot. So if you want to learn more about Pardot, a real robust marketing automation tool, that's there for you. 1 minute late. All right. Okay. Well, I tried to be super on time. Crystal, I don't know. Any questions?
Yeah, we got a lot of good questions here.
Okay.
All right. So Marcy's asking first, how does this work with iMail?
I'm sorry. I don't know what iMail is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Well, maybe they can write in with a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, let me know what iMail is. I have no idea what iMail is. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. So getting a lot of questions on this. So is there a way to change the from email? So so is there any way to change the from email, right? So only see the ability to send from user sending or the organization-wide email if set. How do you, is there any possibility to change the from? I mean, there's a lot of questions on this, people are asking, like if you can use different aliases or.
That's a good question. Okay, so there's a feature in Salesforce called org-wide email addresses in Salesforce. And what this is something like sales@salesforce.com, support@salesforce.com. And then other people, when they send an email, they can use their email or the org-wide address. This is a really good question. I'm not sure if you can use org-wide addresses in list emails. It's a very good question. Let me just see real fast. Then I'm just going to read the documentation real quickly. Can't be used for list emails. Okay, there you go. So no, when you send a list email, it comes from you from Salesforce. Now, if you use a different tool like Pardot, Pardot lets you send it from sales@yourcompany.com, things like that. But it looks like list emails are just sent as you.
Yeah, so Simona was asking, so like when using campaigns, can I as a Salesforce admin initiate an email to the campaign list and have it sent from like the contact owner as
Yes.
opposed to from me? Yeah, okay.
See, but here's the thing, if you want to do something like that, automation rules can do it, right? So for example, could we think of a way to have an automation rule send that email out, right? You create an automation rule that says when someone's added to a campaign and the campaign is this campaign, send an email to them and the from address is their lead owner or something. So automation rules or auto response rules have the ability to use different from addresses, but the list email feature, no matter who sends it, is always coming from the person that sent it.
All right, great. Okay. Reed is asking, says we need to mass email every member of our customer community when we have a product release. So we need to use the user object as opposed to the contact object. Is that possible?
So no, not with list emails, but community users should be contact records. Community users should also have a contact record associated with them. Every user you have in a community should have a contact record. So that would still be what I would use. There should be an association there. So partners, customers, they should still have a contact record, and I would just mass email that.
All right.
Yeah.
Emily was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about and maybe show a little bit of the email relay of how you go about sorting that through and getting that set up.
Yeah, I can't go through too much of it because I don't have an actual email uh, uh, service to connect it to, but I'll show you. You just search for email relay, and we're gonna relay our emails, and it's answering these questions. This is it. So
Great.
if you know what your host is, what your port is, and TLS settings, I mean, it's this. So find the person in your company that manages your email and knows what these 4 things mean. They'll be able to do it. But once this is done, it should be, I mean, this is really all there is to it. So from our end, it's pretty straightforward, but finding these things may be confusing on your end.
All right. Holly would like to know when you send the email for a mass email, does it BCC each so that the email addresses are not shared or seen?
Correct. So when I receive an email from a list email, I will only see the email going to me. I will be unaware of who else got the email or how many other people got the email, or even if it was a mass email, it'll look like any other email coming to me. I will be completely oblivious of everybody else on that list. Yes. It's
Makes
not like that one friend you have that sends you a text message with 800 other people on it, and now you're on this thread that you can never get away from. Don't do that.
All right. Here's a good
I've
one.
lived.
Yeah, we've all lived through that one. All right. Here's a good one from Leah. Do you have to use the standard email field for the list email to work, or can you designate a custom email field?
As of right now, I believe it's the standard email field. In spring 20, we are adding the ability to have multiple email fields related to a contact. I don't believe list emails will be able to take account for that. Not yet anyways. For right now, I believe the answer is just the standard email template or the standard email field. Though I could foresee in a future release it using a different, allowing you to pick a different field. But for right now, standard email field.
All right. Chris would like to know, he says, I used to use the HTML open related list in Classic. The
Yeah.
HTML open related list in Classic. Is there something similar in Lightning?
So now in Lightning, when you send emails, let me see if I have, well, these are not, none of these people are real. Let me just send an email real fast. Hi. Send. Okay. So here now, if you notice, see this? We are now embedding some of that information right here in the activity feed. So now you'll be able to see the email, see when it was sent, who it was sent to, when it was unopened, when it was last viewed. So we're putting some of that information here now. And then you can click into the email itself, and there you should be able to let me see. There may be a chance where we can see that right here without needing the report. But I think most of it from a Lightning perspective is slowly and steadily becoming more in that activity feed. Let me just check this one thing. Yeah, first opened, there we go. Created date, first opened date, here we go. First opened, created, is incoming or outgoing, the date it was last opened, there you go. So it looks like you should be able to just do everything with the activity related list and then the email page layout itself. Because if I refresh the page, you should be able to see when it was opened, when it was last opened, etc. So those will just be fields here. Yeah, so you can do it lightly.
Great. All right, this one's from Chris. He says, I have a list with all the stores, and each store has one or more GMs, but we only want one of the GMs to receive the email. How do we filter the list to show only one point of contact's email per account?
You don't. There is no, I only want to see one of these per something. Salesforce's problem with that is it wouldn't know which one to pick randomly. Like, would it just pick the 4th GM, the 1st GM alphabetically? So there is no only give me one from the account. If that's something that you want to do, then I would recommend thinking about how you can filter that a little bit better. So for example, couple ways. One, would you just have your reps go into a particular contact record and check a box for like, this is the GM to notify. This is the main notification GM. This is the one to email GM. And if there is, you can use that field, that checkbox to do that. We have a field here in Salesforce in our records, which I use to find you. We have one called key admin. If you're for whatever reason marked as like the person that cares about Salesforce functionality, you're the one I'm going to reach out to. I don't want to reach out to every VP in your company or every CEO or salesperson or admin. That's not the right way for me to do it. So I use a checkbox. That's one way. What else? You know what? That's probably the easiest way. Find a field or something on your accounts and use that as the filter. Otherwise, what you can do, and we do this sometimes where it's like, hey, Iman, hey, Crystal, we've got 50 tickets to the Warriors game tonight. Which of your customers do you want us to invite? So we would do this all the time where we tell a sales team in a geographic area, invite all your customers that have kids to Disney on Ice. Kids love that. And so we don't know who to email. There's no field that says this is the person to email, right? So what we would do as a rep is you would go to that person, you go to whoever that I should pick an actual person. You go to that person like Al, okay, you go to Al's record and you go, you know what? I think Al should be part of that on Ice thing, Disney on Ice thing. So you would go to the Al record, you'd add them to the campaign, right? And now you've added the one person from that account that you care about. And then when you, as the marketer, you give everyone a few days, hey, go add all your GMs that you care about to this campaign. And then you go to your campaign, and then you can just send your email straight from here, right? So either add people to a campaign, one-off, or add a field that helps you filter them down to just one. But there is no magic filter. Simple question, complicated answer. Sorry.
All right. This is from Jessica. She'd like to know, she said, the toughest thing we've encountered using the mass emailing and when using list views is that the email coming through the email address, it comes through with like the actual email address has, via 2389, like an appendage at the end of some numbers there at the end of it. So she was wondering, she says, I'm sure that affects the deliverability as well as it's just kind of they don't want that look.
So then email relay. That's what that is.
Yeah, so she's asking, can email relay take care of that?
That's what email relay does. That is what email relay does. So when we send an email, we can't pretend from a technology perspective to be you. In the lowest level of the email, when you check it, it'll say it came from some weird Salesforce address, but it's on your behalf, right? An email relay, you really are sending the email from you. So your email addresses should look cleaner. Who it's from should look more appropriate. Try it out. But email relay sounds like what you're looking for.
Okay. And Michelle is saying, what if the lead belongs to both a list and a campaign mass email that's in a mass email? I think maybe she's asking, like, basically, if you're adding it and the lead is in there more than once.
It will get emailed more than once. So here's the thing. If I add if that's the case, then you should just push everyone into a campaign. So campaigns, you can only be added to once. Even if I try to add you to it 6 times, you're only in there once. And when I mass email you, you're only going to get one email. However, if I have bad data and I have 2 crystals in my CRM, I have crystal 1 and crystal 2. They're really the same person. They have the exact same email address, but I have crystal Burek with a Y or something and crystal Burek with a U, which is correct. And I add them both to the campaign, they're both going to get the email. There's no checking to see that there are multiple people with the same email address. That's not something it's going to do. So if you have the same people showing up multiple times, they're going to get the email multiple times. So your best way to counteract that is put everyone into a campaign. And now that they're in the campaign, Salesforce will make sure at least there's only one instance of that lead in that campaign. it still can't help you with duplicate email addresses. It still can't help you with that. So a little bit of data cleaning, data cleanliness is something you should be thinking about here. Yes.
All right. And you're just asking,
Sorry.
Yeah.
And something to think about there is you can have fields that you use like bounce date or emails last time they received an activity. So you can do things like get me all the contacts in California who have an email field filled out, whose last bounce date is empty because an email never bounced when it went to that address, and the activity on the account is newer than the last year. And that'll help you at least get real people that have real email addresses, that when you sent emails to them in the past, they were delivered. And that should help you with some of the bad data. Like when I run my reports to find all of you, I just get rid of all the contacts that don't even have email addresses, because what am I doing there? And get rid of all the people who've opted out, which happens automatically anyways. And then get rid of all the people who have a bounce. Because if I've sent you an email and it bounced, sending you the second email is going to bounce anyway. So you're not a good person to send email to. And that also helps with cleanliness of who you're sending a lead to, a list email to.
All right, great. Yusha's asking, can we customize list email for custom objects as well?
No, you can only send in list email to people, and people in Salesforce are leads and contacts. Now you can have. Let me think about this. Let me see about this. Nope. That's the answer. That's the answer.
All right, a little more clarifications from Marcy. She's saying I use Apple email, not Outlook or Gmail. Will the plugins work with that?
I see. It's a yes and no. No, because there's no plugin for like Apple. There's no app for Apple Mail. Like, where do you send your work email from? When you're on the oh, you really send. Oh, I see what you're saying. You really use the Apple Mail app. No, we don't have a plugin for that. That being said, you can use Outlook and have Outlook send email through your Apple account, but we need the Outlook client or the Gmail client. We need one of those apps for the plugin to work. Yeah.
All right. This is a really good one from Anne. She's asking, what about the opt-out capability for email campaigns?
Mm-hmm. So when you send a list email, if someone has already opted out of email, if they've clicked the no email, if you've clicked the no email checkbox or email opt-out checkbox, I don't think I have it on this page. Let me add it here. The email engine automatically respects it. So if someone has clicked opt out of emails, even if you put them in the mass email list, they will not get mass emails. Let me just see here, email. There we go. There. So if I were to have a lead, and here's the lead, and we've now checked off that Blitzer does not want any emails from us, any mass emails from us, even if now I run a list view and this person's included in the list view and they're in the campaign and I put them in the list email, it's still not going to send it. This checkbox kind of overrules all of that. Now I still can send a one-off email because this might not be a marketing thing. Notice they've opted out of commercial emails, but they haven't opted out of like your bill's late, right, or whatever. So like that stuff you can still send. It's just not a marketing commercial email.
Makes sense. Okay. Jessica's wondering, and I think we touched on this a little bit, but can the relay be used for just one person only?
Not that I'm aware of. I believe it's all of your email traffic goes through your email service. I'm kind of unaware. I'm not sure what your use case is. Why would only one user want to send like official emails and everyone else should send via Salesforce? I'm not sure what you're going for there. No. If that's something you did want to do, a tool like Pardot would let you do it, because then the marketer is the only person really sending those official emails, and they can be the person controlling who gets what emails. Otherwise, I believe email relay is a org-wide feature change.
All right. Okay, Holly was wondering, does it have to be a contact as opposed to contact roles from opportunities?
Okay, so when you go to an opportunity and you have, Haven Enterprises, well, who am I selling stuff to here? Well, on this particular deal, we've got, and I'll just add two people here, we've got Ryan. Okay, so Ryan is my decision maker. So Ryan Gray is the decision maker on this deal. Okay. So there's no list email all the contact roles on this opportunity. That's not a thing. If you want to email all of these people, just send an email from here and send it to Ryan Gray and whoever the other people are. Just send the email. It's 5 people. Okay. If you want to send an email to everybody who is the decision maker, I would do that a little differently. I would do that with a report. So what I would do here is I'd create a contact report. Am I not spelling contact? Contact, contact report. Spell it correctly, all right? And here I've got a report, and I'm reporting on, let's say, all my contacts. I'm just gonna say all contacts, all accounts, all contacts, created date, sure, whatever. So here I've got everybody. But then what I can do is add something called a cross filter. So I can say, show me all of them. Well, I created the wrong report type. Let me try one more time. You can create a contacts. Sorry, I'm looking for the right one here. Yeah, this one should do it. I think maybe I clicked the wrong one. Let me just try one more time. There we go. Okay. So now you've got your filter. You got what you're looking for is contacts with, I think it's called opportunity contacts. There we go. So you can say, show me all of the contacts who are either the primary contact on the opportunity or are just related to the opportunity, okay? And the role that they play on the opportunity is decision maker, for example. So now I'm finding all of my contacts that are the decision maker on opportunities, okay? And then what I would do is I would save this report, whatever you want to call it, and from here, now that I've got all my decision makers or all my IT buyers or all the whoever on all my opportunities, from here, I can then run the report and add these people to a campaign. So if you want to only email people that are tied to active deals, this is one way to do
All right, a
it.
couple more here. Okay, Brittany is saying when setting up the email relay, there's a final step to set up an email domain filter. She wanted to know if you might explain kind of the business use case for setting up an email domain filter. Like why that
Don't know.
step?
I mean, I just don't know. I haven't set it up before. Let me look at it real fast. Email domain filter email. Let me just see what it is real fast. I can probably explain it. Usually, it's either to let me read it for 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I just have to read the documentation and let you know. I don't know. Good question. I don't know.
All right. Okay, so this one's from Stephen. Where is the email relay in the classic version?
Still should be in setup.
Mm-hmm.
Just in setup. It's not a Lightning or Classic thing. It's a Salesforce like platform thing. So when you go into setup, I don't know. Let's look. Email. Just search for email or relay, and there it is. Email delivery settings. There you go.
All right, nice. Yeah, so we wanted to follow up. Oh, well, Holly, wait till you're ready.
Huh. It looks like you can have multiple email relays, and you may be able to filter who gets which ones go through where. I don't know. I got to look into that. That's interesting. I haven't played with that at all. Before next time, I'll be ready. All right, what else? Yeah, what else?
Yeah, okay. To revisit Reed's question, so he was asking, we need to mass email every member of our customer community when they have a product release. So he was saying that, so Salesforce does not provide a way to filter contacts based on whether or not they have an active user record. How do we take our thousands of contact records and only add the ones that have customer community access to our mass email mailing list? Kind of how would you go about that?
There should be, if I'm not mistaken, let me look at the fields. So what we've done in this demo is we have a checkbox for, are they a portal user? So when you have a contact, we just check the box. So if you've got thousands and thousands of contacts, I could have sworn there's a lookup field. Let me just see real fast. Sorry, these are good questions. I want to make sure I've got your answer. Let me look for a lookup field. Could have sworn. No, I guess not. Nope. Okay. So it looks like a checkbox or some other identifying field would probably be the best way to do it. Yeah. If you know who your users are that have contacts, here's the way I would do it if I were you. If I had to do this and I were you, here's how I would do it. Export your list of users, your user ID, and you're going to get a contact ID, because all users that are community users and have a contact or related contact field, there'll be a field there for contact or account ID, for example, like contact ID. So what you would do is export your users with this contact ID field. So now you've got your users and your contact IDs. Now you got all of your contact IDs in a spreadsheet, all of them. And all of these ones are the contacts you care about. So I would add one more column to that spreadsheet and call it is portal user. And I would do an update. I would just mass update every contact with a checkbox for is portal user. And there you go. You now have a list of everybody. Or just put them all in a campaign and mass email everyone in that campaign. But this is how you can get every contact that is a user. And in the future, I might do something automated, like when a user is created and the profile is customer community and the contact ID field is filled out, check the box on that contact user automatically. They're now a portal user. Just do that moving forward.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So just a quick review for Diamond. She was asking, do the emails that are sent from Salesforce route through our servers, Salesforce servers? We'd love to know this because we have some compliance concerns. So kind of
Great.
How did most customers handle that with compliance?
If you do nothing, they go through email Salesforce servers on your behalf. If you set up email relay, they go through your servers. Those are your two options. Or use a third-party marketing automation tool and do whatever those are. Now, Salesforce does have compliance email settings. I don't know what regulatory stuff you're worried about, but for example, compliance. There is a setting here, compliance. So what this will do is basically every email someone sends, well, a copy of it will get somewhere else as well. Of every outgoing email address will get sent to some BCC org for you to save. So if you want to copy everything and save it somewhere for compliance purposes, this feature may be helpful. If you just want to make sure emails going out are going out through your servers, email relay.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, that's all the questions we have right now.
Oh, that's it, just 28 minutes of questions?
Yeah, right to the last second, pretty much.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll give it another, we got another minute. I'm happy to give it another second here.
Okay.
And you guys can always ask us more questions. Just hold up your phone, scan this QR code, and join our Trailblazer community. I'm trying to grow that group, make it a little bit more fun. So please join. All right, 1 minute left, Crystal, anything?
No, we're good.
All right, well, hey, thank you for coming every Tuesday, every Thursday. It's me and Crystal doing something. Coming up on Thursday, I'm excited for this one. Customizing your pages. Before I had a whole customizing Salesforce webinar, and it's just too much ground to cover in 30 minutes. Thursday, I'm going to give you a deep dive on how page layouts work, cool tips and tricks to make your pages look good. This one I'm excited for. This one's really fun. And then Tuesday, I guess I'm excited for that too, but it's an office hour where you just ask me whatever you want. So join us Thursday and Tuesday for interesting stuff. Thank you all for coming. Please fill out a survey. And hey, Happy New Year, everyone. This is my first webinar of the new year. Happy New Year. We'll catch y'all later.